These requirements were meant to minimize transfer effects and to encourage production. In practice, however, the requirements were fleetingly enforced, as was usually the case with the residence requirement, and easily evaded, as when suitable improvements consisted of placing miniature houses, really large doll houses, on the claim. The occupation and development of the American frontier occurred at a faster pace than competitive markets or a strictly enforced Homestead Act would have produced. In contrast to the rule of first possession, there is no gap in ownership under the second rule for fugitive gas, according to which all the gas under the ground already belongs to the people who own the surface. By extension, the second rule suggests that wild animals belong to the owners of some piece of land, such as the land where the wild animal was born. Ownership of fish and other marine resources should perhaps be tied to ownership of the ocean floor. In general, the second rule, called the rule of tied ownership, ties ownership of fugitive property to settled property. The common and civil law often tie ownership by applying the principle of accession. According to this principle, a new thing is owned by the owner of the proximate or prominent property. Thus, a newborn calf belongs to the owner of the mother cow. New land created by a shift in a river belongs to the owner of the river's bank. The owner of a brand name has an exclusive right to use it in an internet domain name. The owner of copyright has an exclusive right to adapt the work to another medium. An owner of an apartment also owns any fixtures that a tenant attaches to the walls. A new business opportunity discovered by a corporate employee in the course of work belongs to the corporation, and a carpenter who unknowingly uses someone else's wood to make a barrel owns it, but he must pay restitution to the wood's owner. Superscript 33, which reads, Thomas A. Merrill, Establishing Ownership, First Possession versus Accession, Berkeley Law and Economics Workshop, 26 February 2007. Tying ownership of fugitive property to settled property avoids preemptive investment so long as the ownership claims and the resource to which the fugitive property is tied are already established. To illustrate, all the gas is already owned under the second rule because all the surface rights are already owned. So the rule does not provide an incentive to acquire ownership by extracting too much gas too soon. Similarly, if salmon were the property of the people who own the streams where they spawn, the owners would not deplete the salmon by catching too many of them.